podcast. I mentioned Twitter, top line stories there. I mentioned some of our lieutenants of free speech who had previously been blackballed from the platform by the prior regime, the social justice regime that previously owned Twitter before Elon Musk bought it. So if you hadn't heard, the Babylon Bee, the conservative satire comedy site, and it's only kind of like sort of satire. A lot of times it's just accurate. But long story short, gosh, it's getting on a year, maybe. There's somewhere around there. The Babylon Bee was on Twitter, and they posted a meme saying that the transgender attorney general or whatever that person is, lieutenant of our army, that they nominated him for Man of the Year because he is a male. He's currently walking around pretending to be a female. And so our state government or Time Magazine or somebody stupid elected this individual as Woman of the Year. And that was just so obviously preposterous. Babylon Bee had to satirize it. And so they said, well, we're electing him for Man of the Year for winning Woman of the Year. And that got them banned from Twitter permanently. No, 1 week ban, none of that. And the only way for them to get back on Twitter was, according to Twitter, if they were to remove the post. Bend the knee. Succumb to our gender ideology. Castrate your kid and say it's a good thing. That's what they wanted the Babylon Bee to do. And the Babylon Bee is a Christian organization to begin with. So it's not like there was some way where they were going to compromise on, yeah, you know what? We probably should mutilate children. Okay, you're right. We probably should let people with a known clinically diagnosed mental disorder called gender dysphoria, we probably should just affirm what they believe and say, yeah, you actually are a woman. Yeah, totally. In the same way that we should just start affirming people with anorexia that, yeah, having your ribs poke out and, being 20 pounds underweight and no muscle mass, that if that's what you like, then that's what we should do. It's an obviously wrong thing to do, to affirm people's gender dysphoria and especially to promote it actively to children. That's just demonic. That's evil working its way into mainstream society under the guise of compassion. People are asleep. They didn't notice that they had been fooled, that the way they used to define compassion no longer, it's just, we don't even live in that world at all anymore. We think compassion is giving drug addicts more drugs so that they can stay on drugs and stay homeless and stay without a career and never recover. That's what we call compassion now. So, Babylon Bee is back on Twitter. That's great news. Free speech is important, and especially when it's done with a lens of humor, because that really does cool the tensions between the sides and try to highlight some of the hypocrisy and the absurdity of leftism. Like, that's just what we need. So glad to see them back. Also saw that Jordan Peterson was back on Twitter. I don't know every single left and right turn of that story, but I do know that he was in a similar situation where I think he just flat out supported the Babylon Bee, and so they banned him in response. And it was the same thing where you have to take down your post that is factually accurate and true, and if you don't, you can't get back on the platform. And same way, he refused to bend the knee, and now neither of them ever had to. They just had to wait it out until Elon bought the damn company and implemented mostly common sense enforcement of free speech. But there's two things here I want to talk about, and we'll just go ahead and kick into this first story here, the Twitter story, the Elon takeover for the sake of free speech, or in the name of free speech. How true is that statement? Is it going to bear fruit the same way we thought it did? Okay, Babylon B and Jordan Peterson are back on Twitter. Great. This morning, Elon tweeted out this poll right here. Reinstate former President Trump. So far, we got 52% say yes, 47.7% say no, with 11 million votes. 8 hours left on the poll. So if you haven't taken that, I encourage you to get into your Twitter account, drop a vote in there. And obviously, I would recommend it be Trump because he is the single politician in the current political landscape who at least even pretends to know what's going on with the greater Israel threat, the Jewish subversion of Christian American first values. Nobody else is really talking to that point. Definitely not DeSantis. DeSantis is in their back pocket. So if you care about that, if you don't want 2% of the country running the other 98%, then maybe it's something to consider. So the question of the poll, though, should we reinstate Donald Trump to Twitter? In my opinion, it's sad that this is even controversial and that 47% of people say no. And granted, we're talking about the Twitter sphere, so it's already heavily skewed against anyone who is conservative, and especially heavily skewed against the evil orange man who hates immigrants. You know. So obviously I said yes. What else do I have to say about this story? Not that much to it. Oh, the big thing is, even if this comes down pretty definitively as the majority saying yes, it's not like that's what is holding Donald Trump back from being on this platform. Elon Musk deciding it whether or not he should be. I think Elon Musk just understands the obvious that this is now a presidential candidate. As of his announcement earlier in the week, he's running for president. He's on a presidential campaign, and so do you really want to be the guy responsible for stopping the free speech of somebody who's a political candidate? You don't want to be that guy, and Elon knows that, and it would undermine his whole taking over Twitter in the first place. So he has to publicly come out as not only he himself wanting to have a positive influence on Trump coming back, meaning I put a poll out there, because the thing is, he doesn't want to look like a dictator and just say, I decided to let Trump back on. He doesn't want to be that polarizing. So he's saying, I'm putting this in the hands of the people, and we're going to have a democratically run result here of whether or not we should get Trump back on the platform. That way, people who don't like Trump, even if he gets back on here, they can't say it's Elon's fault. They can only say, hey, it was a community decision where the majority won out. So it's actually pretty brilliant business-wise by Elon. Like I said, this allows him to skirt any kind of, not any, but most of the criticism for Trump potentially coming back to the platform. But here's the thing, guys, and this is what I'm really trying to get to. Trump has already publicly said that he doesn't want to come back on the platform. He actually said that I am not going to come back on the platform. So unless he goes back on his word and does a little bit of politician, slipperiness, which, don't get me wrong, all politicians do it, would not be surprised. But he's already said on Trump's Truth Social and other places that he has no desire to come back to Twitter. Now, what I could see happening is this poll comes out very clearly illustrating that the people do want him back on Twitter. And so Trump could say something to the tune of, the people have spoken, and, hey, I know I said this, but I have to listen to my people because I love my people. And that's the way a politician would do it. He would say, I'm not going to ignore the people because that's the whole point of a politician, is to represent the people. So if you guys want me back, if you love me that much, and I know you guys love me, you love me, right? He'll do his Trump thing and he'll come back. And it'll allow him to, like I said, kind of shimmy out of the previous I'm not going to go back. And then obviously Democrats will call him a flip-flopper, make fun of Truth Social, blah, blah, blah. But that does leave several unanswered questions in regards to the fate of Truth Social. Is there really a point of it if Donald Trump is going to be using Twitter to be his conduit to speaking to the people directly throughout his next 2-year campaign? Is there really a point? So, I mean, a lot of the draw currently, a lot of the traffic to Truth Social is because people know that's the only place where Trump is talking directly to the people. If suddenly they know that they can get the same little snips of information from Twitter, then perhaps they might not install Truth. Perhaps they might delete Truth or start checking it less often. That means your ad revenue goes down, and that means the entire business goes down. So it is a little bit of a juggle where Trump just has to decide what's more important here. Is it more important for me to get to the most ears and eyes possible via Twitter, or am I going to, be resistant to admitting defeat on the Truth Social platform, and maybe not admit defeat, but say, look, we're going to put this, my team's going to continue to grow it. We're going to continue to post on both. But while I am either running for president or while I am president, I understand that I need to be able to talk to all the people. And so I'll also be on Twitter. He'll do some PR. He'll figure it out. That's what's going on with Twitter and trying to get free speech. That's 3/4 of what's going on. Okay, so we talked Babylon Bee, we talked Jordan Peterson, we talked Donald Trump. What's 4 out of 4, though? What's the fourth leg of free speech missing here? First of all, if you didn't know that there's still stuff missing, then you are not awake. If you think the only aspect of free speech that is currently being censored or not available on Twitter is former President Donald Trump and the Babylon Bee and Jordan Peterson, then you're not actually red-pilled, because there is a whole extra portion of political commentators, conservatives, that are currently banned on Twitter and have been for 12 months or longer. And the people who fall into that category are the ones who present the most objection to the current regime. They're the people who promote very, very clearly America first. Christianity first. Christian America first. Anyone promoting that message, as you already know, as Joe Biden has reminded us all many, many times, have been labeled by the federal government as domestic terrorists, violent extremists, despite not having actually committed any crimes. There's no recorded violent interactions with other citizens. There's no harassment, anything like that. It's just openly stating that you think America would be a better place if Christianity was actually woven into our government, remained in schools, and was the majority belief in this country, and not by a small margin, but by a much larger margin. Because right now it's somewhere around 50% of the nation is Christian. Many of us believe that this place was better, and it would be better if we got to something much higher than that, which does obviously leave the latitude for people who don't participate in Christianity and participate in some other religion or who are completely secular. Doesn't matter if you're atheist or agnostic, there's still room for you in America too. Don't be misinterpreted. Don't misinterpret me when I say America should be a Christian nation, saying it becomes illegal to not be Christian. That's what the liberal people want to whip into a freezy, and that's what they say to their base to scare them. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying what we in the same way that there is a narrative and worldview taught in public schools now, we can change that narrative to a Christian-focused worldview. And in the same way that I'm still legally allowed to be a Christian right now, despite my worldview and my religion not being the primary message in society, I'm still allowed to do it legally, right? if we inverse things, you'll still be fully legally allowed to be atheist or a Jew or Muslim, whatever you want. Banda, what's going on, man? Sorry, I was just ranting. I didn't look up at chat. My day is excellent. It's a Saturday morning. Got a lot to talk about today. A lot. We're going to talk about the rest of this Twitter stuff going on. You know, we got a few people back on the platform. Babylon B, Jordan Peterson. This poll that we're looking at from Elon Musk is asking the community, should we bring Donald Trump back on? But I was just saying, to wrap up this Twitter story, there is still a large portion of political commentators missing from Twitter who are still banned. And those people are, I'm just going to name like the two most well-known, Alex Jones and Nick Fuentes. Alex Jones of InfoWars, Nick Fuentes of America First. Both of these individuals have been banned on all social media, not just Twitter, but YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, all of it. And it's no coincidence that both of these individuals are the loudest objectors to the Jewish influence of America. And so that's the fundamental problem, is that the fundamental problem with America is the one thing we're still not allowing to be talked about, even though Elon Musk said he's here to reinstate free speech. Free speech for everybody, except if you want to say something about the Jews. Sorry. Still not free to talk about that. At least not on Twitter. So we can say a lot of things here. We can say we win the battle but not the war. We could say incremental progress, and maybe this is the first wave. And once Elon sees that, okay, Trump's on here, Babylon B and JP, Andrew Tate, all these other controversial figures, they're on here, and Twitter's not burning down. So perhaps if we let Alex Jones and his crazy conspiracy theories and Nick Fuentes and his bigoted white supremacy, which it's not, but you know that's what they call it, I guarantee you Twitter does not turn into a 4chan hellscape overnight if you allow that. It just won't happen. But there's something else going on as to why Elon Musk is not allowing that to happen. As I said, it's not going to ruin the Twitter sphere if he lets them back on. What it would ruin, perhaps, is his relations with the ADL and other high-pressure activist groups that the Jews are in control of. So I think what's happening here is Elon is trying to make progress, knowing don't let perfection be the enemy of progress. And maybe one day we get to the free speech absolutist thing. I hope so. We shall find out. So that's the Twitter story. A couple other stories we're going to talk about.